Go for it, Liz.
Okay, well, I am so excited to be able to present this amazing young woman. Smith's work centers around upcycling materials and focuses on environmental and social justice themes. She uses magazine clippings, cardboard, plastic, and found scraps, and she creates original mixed media paintings and murals. And while some of her work is driven by political, social, and environmental injustice, most reflect her deeply rooted optimism and belief in the power of the feminist spirit, unity, and love. The focus on recycled art is meant to regenerate a woman's belief in herself rather than consumerism. Creating art while using recycled materials that encourages the viewer to question sustainability and raises awareness for political, economic, and social debates. Smith has exhibited in the Ontario Museum of History and Art, was a featured artist on Pendry West Hollywood, the largest digital media display on the Sunset Strip in LA. She was selected as artist for the 19th Amendment Centennial Celebration for Los Angeles, was featured in LA Art Show, galleries, and private collections, while working with nonprofits like Equal Meets Equal, the Venice Family Clinic, Casa of Los Angeles, and companies like Netflix, Amazon, Comedy Central, CBS, NBC, and many others. A proud mother and an artist who never tires of exploring the edges of art, humanity, and hope. So with that, Amy, go for it.
It's a lot. Thank you. I really appreciate it. When I get my notes together. Just thank you for having me. I just want to start out by saying that, because this group looks phenomenal. So many women here are doing so many different things in so many different mediums. I know that there's a lot to learn and a lot to support each other with. So I'm just happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me. A little bit about about me. That was pretty much my bio. I'm a mixed media artist, so I do digital and physical mixed media artwork. So that ranges usually from illustration, digital art, to physical paintings and murals and things like that. My backstory is really, I grew up in New Jersey. I didn't go to art school. My dad is very talented. He's a sculptor. He's a jack of all trades. So I think I kind of got it from him. And then his mom was a maker, really great oil painter, and just didn't get enough credit in her time as well. So I think I'm a third generation artist, and that's kind of where it comes from. But I began with photography. So on this little breakdown, I don't know if this is in the way. On the screen here, I have just one little image of the Santa Monica Pier. So I started with photography, and then I started kind of using my travel photos to make just kind of basic contemporary art. I loved traveling, so I just wanted to kind of use that as a way to start off, I guess, making art. It was just playful at the time. It wasn't anything serious. And I learned Photoshop. My brother taught me Photoshop, and that kind of changed my whole life. So I realized it was something I enjoyed. And at that time, I was with some friends, and we started this little art collective, and we would go around and do shows. I would just put photo collages together of things. And I thought I was doing something awesome, and we would do some shows around town, and it was fun. And again, it was like nothing that I took very serious. It was just something to learn because I didn't really go to school for anything. I just used experimentation, I think, for, you know, for my learning. So after some of that time, created this digital collection. There's a collection that I license out that I'll talk about later, but that's kind of where it started with the photography. And then I found a mentor in Los Angeles that he started out with the like lowbrow kind of like emerging artists. He would help them. He would do portfolio reviews. So anybody can come to him during this slotted time. He was the co-owner, he still is co-owner of Think Space Gallery in West Adams, maybe now. They moved. And he started this thing called Cannibal Flower. And that was for all emerging artists to have that experience of their art on a wall as a group show, as a showcase. So he also DJs. So I think it was just a party thing, but he allowed for that, for us to see it. And I got a lot of critique from doing those shows, like how you present your work, what scale you want to present your work, like things like that. We really learned through him, and he actually helped me figure out this style with the mixed media collage and stencil. So so then I had with that, I had my first solo show in 2016, my first mural in 2018 with the gallery called Gabba Gallery. They've been around for over 10 years. They're on Beverly, and during this whole time, I was working in TV and film. I started in 2009, and I thought I wanted to do that. So this was all play stuff. This was all experimenting for me, really. And I thought I wanted to be a production designer or a set decorator or a buyer. I literally tried all of that for 10 years and decided, nope, not for me. So in 2019, I really decided to take this more seriously. And I had, that's when I got into the LA Art Show. In 2020, LA Art Show happened. And then, no, 2019, 2020. And then the pandemic happened. I was lucky enough to use that time. I cultivated a group, a community, artists community from the galleries that I've been showing at and doing the group shows. And a friend asked if we wanted to go out and beautify the city that was shut down and boarded up and looked, devastating. So for 6 months, I went and painted for free, painted murals around the town just to beautify the city and the streets. Got to talk to people that were walking their dogs and stuff like that, and they really appreciated just having some kind of color and some kind of vibrancy in such a dark time. So that really changed the way I kind of think about how art can affect people and their just their lives. Let's see what else. So during the pandemic, this was also like a pivotal time for me. So I created this iconic series. So RBG is here on the front page. I just sat, I listened, I watched a lot of documentaries. There wasn't, too much for us to do. And I was really impacted by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Maya Angelou, and other women that have made such such change in the world that we don't really, I wasn't taught about. So I realized that there was something I was missing, and I wanted to dive into that. I expanded that series through commissions from my friend in New York. She wanted some for her classroom. She's a teacher in New York. And so she picked out some other, let me go through this a little bit. She picked out some other people that she wanted, and the series just kind of organically grew. This is the collection, it's part of the collection of the photography I was mentioning. This is in Los Angeles, this building, or where they put up the vinyl there in some building. I don't really know, they just license it out. This is the collection of mixed media, all figurative, like portrait paintings using recycled magazines. I went into neon. That's what was at the LA art show, all the neon work. This was the first mural I did. That's my son. He was like 1-ish or something. And then I just started painting. These are the ones that, these two were painted during the pandemic. This was LA Art Show, 2020. And here's the iconic series that I kind of came about and just organically grew and still growing. I did Jane Goodall as my most recent portrait too. So I've been exploring abstract as my new favorite thing. I added that on here. I'm sure there's a bunch of abstract painters as well in this group, but it took me a long time to understand abstract and get into it, but that's my new like obsession. So I'm really trying to learn how to intuitively paint and kind of get into the feeling of painting and what I want them to evoke. And usually I would just understand how to do that through portraiture and through poses and through color and things like that. But now I'm trying to explore the abstract field, still using mixed media and recycled materials, because that's kind of my jam. But it's my new challenge, and that's kind of where I'm at now. So I'd love to see, there's questions. Let's see.
Sorry, I lost that part of my screen. Hold on.
And I can scroll through anything if you want to look at it like in more detail too.
One of the questions is, did you have to obtain permission to use those photos of those icons?
So a lot of okay, so that's a great question. And it comes up a lot. I licensed the Maya image, and most of them are public domain. There's a lot of public domain imagery, and then I create graphics inside the collages. So some of it, like RBG and those types, are all it's like I create the graphics inside as the collage as well. And so sometimes I'll license the image or license images, but most of them are public domain. And then if there's also like a gray area, there's also a gray area of if you're creating an original versus if you're creating a reproduction. Like I wouldn't really license these out. It's not really for licensing. They're all limited editions. So they're small editions, and it allows you to get to kind of do things that you can't with reproductions. And they're all illustrated. So if somebody wanted to come after me, they might be able to for maybe the Carrie Fisher one, but not really. Like I kind of keep it very generic. So there's a lot of like gray area in that, but a lot of them are public domain, like Angela Davis. A lot of the stuff that's like government owned, things like that are Creative Commons owned.
where do
But a
you
lot of
find-
Smithsonian government sites, things like that. That's what I kind of started using.
So does it say that the images are in the public domain? Like, how do you
Anything
differentiate?
owned by .gov is also. So like Angela Davis, a lot like those images that are just her speak, her about the time, like historically documenting that time.
Mhm.
If you find them on the .gov sites and things like that. Yeah, Smithsonian's another one. I can't remember. There's a couple others, but they're all
I think they're Library of Congress.
Library of Congress. Thank you. Yeah,
And
things
could I
like
ask-
that.
Yeah.
Do you begin with a photograph and then Photoshop that into your black and white or into a no-tan layout? Or what, how do you always begin with a photograph? Ellen is wondering.
Yeah, I typically begin with photos, and then I started taking my own photography. So I would photograph models and have them pose so that I could, over time you learn a lot, right? So like all these questions, these are questions that I've come up with and had to like figure out over time. And so I started wanting to photograph my own models and things like that for these photographs, things that this one was like a Photoshop illustration that I just kind of put together. So I just some of them I would draw, like illustrate, and then these were I took with a camera. So we did a photo shoot. We dressed her, and I had a wardrobe stylist and everything, the whole thing. And so then, yeah, some of them come from photographing them from the beginning and then turning them into a black and white.
So is it true? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it true that you can start with someone's original photograph, and as long as you make the changes that make it very different, that's legal? I just wonder, because I've heard that before. Is that?
Yeah, and what everyone says is that there's no actual percentage. Like a lot of people talk about this gray area and a percent that you have to change it, but there really is no percent. Like there's not anything stating, oh, change it 30%.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Full screen. Oh, but yeah, exactly. It's this kind of area that you're like, I don't know what I can do, what I can't. But when I'm adding illustration and I'm adding these other elements, yeah, I'm changing the original photo. So I feel like it's changing it enough that it alters it. Yeah. Does that work? Or can you show any of these portraits full screen so we can see the detail from Nancy?
Yeah, that's better. I thought maybe you would have a JPEG that you could show, but this is fine.
Oh, okay. This one was all, instead of painting the background, I used all magazines. So these are all just green magazines to create the color of the green instead of painting green. And then inside her face is the other light colored magazine.
Now, is this digital or is it?
This is a physical, yeah, painting
Physical,
that
it's analog.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and then this is on wood because I added the neon, which is physical, is like a real glass neon.
And how large is this?
This one was 3x4, 36/48.
Okay.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
This one I covered up a lot of the magazine because I wanted this splashy splash in the background. So really you can only see the magazine like in her face and kind of right here.
Do you plan these out in advance or do you go with the flow? Like, for example, this one you said you covered up a lot of the magazine. was that intent? Did you know you were going to do that from the get-go?
No, yeah, I guess it is kind of like, I just wanted to try this effect, like see how it came out. And I think I was like, at the time, at certain times I get obsessed with certain colors. And I think this one is just like, oh, I was really obsessed with this color palette. And it's weird, like this piece in particular, I've created like 4 times, like 4 original paintings in totally different color schemes, different neon color, different background, things like that. So it's kind of interesting that I can use the same basic portrait and create, a couple different versions. That was something that I kind of learned to do after a little while, because it felt like it was like I didn't want it to be like one and done situation. I liked it too much that I wanted to keep going.
Lori is wondering, how do you seal or protect your collages?
I use the gel medium from Golden. It's an archival gel medium, and it's for paper. And I just water it down a little bit. Works great.
A lot of artists have said that. It's really interesting that that golden gel medium.
That medium, yeah. I love it. I mean, I don't love how, it's expensive, but so what I typically do is I use I've went from so many different versions of glue and adhesives, but now I'm on to wallpaper paste, the PVA glue, but it's like wallpaper paste, because you can get it like in a big
jug,
jug, yeah. And then so I'll just use that to like first layer, put it all down, and then to seal it, I'll use the nice stuff, the the archival acrylic, to kind of do the next layer, so that I'm not always using that, because it just gets pricey over time.
So are your paintings done on paper and canvas and wood? Are you using a variety of substrates?
Yeah, I use wood. I use wood when I'm doing neon, because my husband builds all the boxes for me, so I'm kind of lucky. And you need something that you can drill into. It can be sturdy, things like that. These pieces are on canvas.
Canvas on board
canvas.
or gallery wrap?
Gallery wrap, yeah, the thick ones. I was framing them with like the floater frames. That was really nice. But paper, I've tried to work on paper, but I don't feel like I succeeded that well. I think it's fine for me when it's just trying to think, but yeah, when it's just like the stencil and the color, when it's like not a lot of the magazine, it just doesn't seem
sturdy enough.
Yeah, I just don't kind of do it too often, because I'm like, I might as well just use a canvas, because then I can frame it up and make it look nice instead of it just being on the paper. I just don't have a lot of luck with that. But yeah, mostly canvas and wood. And wood is great for like different types of textures for the paper as well. If you're sealing it on there and ripping it off, wood, for me, like I like to kind of use that instead of the canvas is a little bit more, it gives a little bit more. Is the black in your paintings digital or painted? You know what, I think it is going to translate a little bit better when I show you the layers that I have on my table for the process. But all the black is so I hand cut all my hand cut stencils. So I basically created a way of making like cheap silk screens. So it's all stencils, and I spray paint through the screen that I've created. I have one as an example that I'll show you. When we're ready, I can do that. But yeah, it's all painted. All the black is painted. I just use it as like this outline basically, so that you can differentiate the color and the background from the subject, because otherwise it's just it clashes. So the black is the outline barrier basically, from all of that. I didn't even think about this, but I can also pull up my website. I have a lot more like pieces that I've done over time too. Oh, was someone, I think Liz?
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, I
this is
thought,
Liz.
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering, have you ever started something and changed it completely and kept the substrate?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that also. Like, I have this painting. I'm just gonna, yeah, I'll wind up covering. And yeah, collage is great for that. I've covered many of paintings. Collage, you just throw some paper on there and you just cover it right up. Nobody knows nothing, you know?
Right.
Nobody knows the difference.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I just cover it up.
Okay.
I heard you say also that you are kind of into your abstract paintings, and I just wondered, are you still trying to find what you really like to kind of do most of the work like that? Or I like the idea that you've done different kinds of art, and I tend to do that, but I'm thinking sometimes that that's detrimental to, you know, people like to see you do a style and kind of stick to it. That's what I hear, and I just
Yeah.
wonder. Yeah, I like all of your work though. Mhm.
It's an interesting model, right? But yeah, I think there's like a couple points that I want to make to that question, because it's what I think about like all the time. And I make art because it's like, you know, it's an expression of myself and an expression of me learning my personal growth and creative process, along with whatever the intention is for creating the piece, right?
Right.
I don't typically try and worry about what other people want from me, because I think that is also maybe a little bit limiting. Also, the pieces that I'm going to license out aren't maybe the pieces that I'm showing at a gallery. So it also diversifies my revenue stream of what I can offer people.
Oh,
So there, and it allows for different price points. It allows for, you know, a couple different things of exploration on my end, a little bit more playfulness. But I do think that I think everything is growing into the next thing
mhm.
for me, and I think abstract is gonna be where I end up, but I don't actually know, because now I'm like, oh, animated things are fun to do. Like, I don't ever think that, like, I look back, because I've thought about this a lot, look back at, you know, Picasso, or, you know, whoever, like all these different people, they had varying styles, they had varying types of work.
Yeah.
One hit,
Okay.
that's all.
Yeah, I really appreciate your answer, because I tend to be all over the place. I do things, but I love creative. I love the creative process. So I do that all the time, but I think that it kind of dips into my making a profit on something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because, yeah, but I like your answer.
I think and honestly, you can keep a lot of this to yourself. Not a lot of people even know that I do this series, the architecture stuff. I found, you know, the website we were talking about, Turning Art. They're the ones that put this in a lobby. I illustrated 6 floors in a New York building lobby. Nobody's seen that. Paid me though. So
That's
I don't
good.
know. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I think it's about how you market it. It's
right,
like, are you marketing the things that you're just enjoying to do, or are you finding a way to enjoy what you do and find a market for them?
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Thank
it's a lot of time. It takes a lot of time, you know.
you.
So, but I also, I like, what I'm also kind of thinking about for myself is branding, and that I understand in your question of, if you just did this one thing, if I just had this one thing and I would just stick to that, everybody would know that that one thing is mine. And I
Right.
think for this series that I've been doing for since, I don't know, 2016 or whatever, before that, this is what people know me typically for. And people are starting to know this. Well, they kind of know this. They kind of started knowing this, but it's all in the same realm, you know, it kind of lives all in the same place. And then people are starting to learn kind of this situation. But I've had these pieces on TV, and I have people say, "Hey, is this your artwork?" And I say, "Yeah, that's me." It is recognizable, and this style of most would be the one that people recognize the most, because I've been doing it, I think, for so long. But I don't ever want that to limit creating new work, because I think that's, as creators and as artists, we're always going to create. We have to. So I can't not, follow that,
Have
wherever
you
it goes.
considered, Amy, have you considered 3D?
Yes, I want to do these sculptures. So I didn't even put my flower things on here. I have a whole other thing that I was doing with these flowers that are real beautiful. But yes, I've been thinking about making these recycled, upcycled vases, because I'm obsessed with that right now. So I have this obsession with vases. So my dad was a potter, so I think it has something to do with that, and being like a little bit homesick. But I just had gone home like a few weeks ago, so that was good. But yeah, I want to create paper mache structures, and using recycled materials and more 3D elements. So
Yeah, that seems to be part of your, I don't know, heritage, or since your father was a sculptor.
yeah,
And paper mache.
yeah, and he was using all sorts of materials. Yeah, it was never just all like recycled or anything like that. I just think that for me, we were very conscious growing up about all of that. We had our little garden, that we had, that we still have, and we were very, very conscious and aware of that. So it's been something that I wanted to use and navigate that into a path, into my art, because I think it's so important. And growing up, I didn't know what to do with that information, and so I think now, trying to make up for it.
No, I think it's great. I love what you do. I've been following you on social media for a long time. And if you have a few minutes, I've been impressed with your media savvy. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't have. You may have the book knowledge, but not the social media and marketing savvy that is really needed in today's world.
Yeah, when I'm telling you that's like, part of it, I'm sure that many people have figured out, how to sell their work, if it's through galleries or whatever, whatever you're choosing. But I've found that over time, I'm just trying to figure out all these different mediums that I have. How can I use them, to make money and promote them? And social media for me has been really helpful. I can sell things through Instagram, or if it's somebody following me, and then I do group shows or shows around town, people will come and buy stuff because they got a chance to meet me in person, which is cool. So I've been trying to learn as much as I can on my own, the social media aspect to this. But personally, I've stuck with Instagram a lot, and I know that TikTok is supposed to be pretty great, but I just haven't gotten there yet. But I think it's necessary. Unfortunately, I don't like it. I don't like doing any of it. I have to, because I went from understanding in 2019 when I stopped, working full time, that this is a business. I have to treat it kind of like a business. So if there's this basically free platform to share your work and meet people, I'm going to use it and try and get better at it. And or you pay someone to do it for you. If you can, if you're so lucky, that would be amazing. You just pay somebody to do it for you. They can throw some stuff up there. That would be great too. But I have a newsletter that I send out. So that's part of my what I do, every month, or if I'm doing something. Okay, let me fix that.
Is it not Amy's? Oh, sorry. Yes,
Oh,
sorry.
it's okay. It's just typo.
Yeah.
The newsletter is a big deal, and I'm still trying to get some of my friends into this idea of sending out a newsletter. I don't understand. I understand that it sucks. You don't have to do it every day. It's really something that maybe you do like once a month. That would be ideal. But I have friends doing art fairs, and they're not even collecting email addresses. I think that's such a waste. It has to happen. It sucks, but it has to happen. I make reoccurring from the same collector. They'll buy multiple pieces, because they saw something in my newsletter that was like, oh, I like that. Or they'll keep an eye on it if I have a sale. I do that kind of marketing stuff. It's pretty basic stuff, but it's stuff that takes time and intention to do. And I just know that it works. I license my stuff out on different platforms.
When you license, well, I know some of the platforms that you use because I share some of those platforms. But on the other part of the licensing part, do people come to you or do you go to them?
That is a good question. I have found most of my opportunities by myself.
By yourself.
The Pendry, that was me. That, like that nobody was knocking at my door for nothing. I cold call people or cold email certain things that I've seen that they're doing with artists. I look on the Los Angeles opportunities page, which is a great page on Facebook. West Hollywood has their own art opportunities group that they post opportunities. I was lucky enough to get something through them.
Great. Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's this diligence that has to occur, because not to say because we're women or whatever, but I feel like for me, I feel like I have to always be going after opportunities. I'm not one to sit and feel like anything is coming.
I was just listening to a few podcasts over the past week, and including this morning, and they were saying exactly what you're saying. Exactly. Calling, emails.
The groups are great. The groups kind of streamline some of the things that are coming from Los Angeles County, they're like county arts, DCA, you know, Department of Cultural Affairs, things like that. It kind of streamlines those opportunities. So really you just got to do some scrolling, look through maybe what other people have posted, because there's some really great people that post up there. I know Christine Shoemaker has like a list, I think. Shoebox or something. I don't know. I can figure that one out. But she posts a lot on there. Yeah,
You're
but then
breaking
does
up
she have?
a little.
Oh, let me see if my computer's getting hot. Is it getting better or is it not better?
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you now.
I can even put like, no, I don't know if yeah, Shoebox is she does PR, but she has a resource page, which is pretty dope too, on her like her community site, like the one that she does for the community. But I find a lot of stuff. I hate Facebook, but I use it mostly for the groups. And I find that really does. Oh, art and cake. That's what I was wondering if she was art and cake too. Yeah, so I like this. I like the groups for that kind of stuff. And otherwise, yeah, I do look at calls, like art calls on Cafe, Cafe for Entry or whatever that is. I got into the brand library, the juried works on paper exhibit that just ended through that, because I didn't know them. So that was a new thing for me.
Oh, that's
So
great.
yeah, so I think I'm always happy to share like any of that information that I'm aware of that is like helpful, because I know it's like just doing a bunch of research trying to figure out where you fit in. Like a lot of my art, I never really felt like it fit in anywhere. People don't like portraits, or people don't like that, you know, like I don't know, like it's not for everybody, you know.
Right.
So all the and that's why also diversifying, you know, your collection. If the portraits aren't for somebody, then maybe the abstract or maybe the other stuff kind of is, you know. Like I've had the same collector buy an abstract piece and also a portrait piece. So it also gives them an opportunity to get something different. And people also understand the evolution of an artist. My gallery, I've talked to about this. They understand that you're going through an evolution. So if you start with something, you don't have to stick with it. You can always evolve and say that this is my evolution of my next thing that I'm doing, you know, that I'm passionate about. And the people that collect your old work, good value for them, you know. Hopefully, you know, our prices and our other things increase over time, and it becomes a good thing that they collected it first. So those are things to think about too. The value of our art over time, you know, as an investment.
Well, thank you, Amy. Maybe I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'd certainly like to see a demo.
Yeah, that's why I have a little setup over here. So this is like just my little outside area that I come out and like.
So Amy, what we need to do is we need to close the share.
Oh, stop sharing. Yeah.
Okay, and then good. And now you should be spotlighted for everybody.
All right, let me move this. I'm gonna close this. All right, so I'm just gonna move my computer. I'm gonna be over here, but I have my headphones in. So if you have any questions, I can still hear you. I'm just it's gonna be spray paint, so I need it to be away from my computer. So I have, this is how unorganized I am. Some people that do collage have everything in certain color packages, and it's very nice. That is not me.
Do you subscribe to all these magazines, or where do you get these mags from?
Oh, Zero magazine. I don't subscribe to any magazine. that's also why I use Facebook, because the neighborhood subscribes to magazines and they give them to me.
Oh, nice.
So again, low cost, which is good, and recycling, which is good. So this is an example
Hmm.
of when someone asks, what is that black? Is it painted? Or is it digital? In my physical collages,
Wow.
this is what I cut out.
And what's that made out of?
This is printer paper and outdoor concrete mesh screen.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
learned from a street artist like years ago. He would go out and he would put up his stuff on boxes and around town or whatever. And this is what they used for, this is how they basically used for reusable stencils. So you go up and you can put it up multiple times. For my process, I needed something multiple. I used to do this and just have the paper. I would tape the paper to the canvas, and it was so wasteful. I could use it once and then the paper was trash. So this was a good way to use to create these recycled multi-use stencils, basically. But really, because the layers aren't really connected like a true stencil, so it's really just a cheap silk screen.
Huh.
So that's what's happening here.
And you just glue it on.
Actually, the concrete screen
Uh-huh.
is sticky.
Got it. So it
So I
stays.
used to glue it. In my old YouTube videos, I used to use a different screen and you had to actually physically glue everything. But this is a new different screen that's sticky on one side, and so it sticks right to the paper.
Awesome. You don't have to take it off.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I just say it's just two parts. Yep.
That's brilliant.
So that's what's happening here. When I'm using making like a traditional stencil, this is basically like a traditional stencil. But what I'm gonna do for the demo is do a two layered stencil. This is kind of old. And then put this over top of it so you can see both layers. So usually I would have my mask, but this is very small and I'm just gonna do a little bit. I don't know where my mask went.
Can we see the background before you start?
Oh yeah, the background is just collage. Oh, sorry, I thought I showed you this. It's just
Okay.
collage magazines. Not
Mm.
much going on over there.
Is that just like
Oh,
crayon?
let me show you this other thing. I'm gonna show you this. I'm gonna show you. I didn't even realize. So this is water-based spray paint. So that's actually better. This is just an old, I'm trying to use all water-based now, but this is an old color. But this is not Montana 94, so this is just a spray paint that I had. But the water-based is better because it's not as toxic. It's like less toxic. But I'm trying to like move away from spray paint and just use it for accent. So this is layer one, basic kind of stencil motive, just the shape. And then put this. It matches up exactly because I printed it out and it's sized right to the canvas. So I don't have to think about anything.
Do you cut your stencils with an X-Acto knife? Oh, wow.
Yes, X-Acto knives all day.
Wow, that's
And
beautiful.
then that's a 2-layer, multi-layer stencil. I mean, two, it's not, my friend does like many layers, like so many layers. This is just basically 2. Whoops.
Is your light color, do you always start with your light and then move to dark? Or like, do you ever start with your black and then do your lights over that?
I've done a few that way, but I like the boldness of the black outline, and then it matches the rest of the stuff I do,
Yeah.
But I've tried it the other way as well a few times. It's definitely different, and it creates a cool effect.
Are these stencils recyclable?
Yeah, this one, there's different materials you can use for stenciling. There's stuff called oil board, which is great. So if you're creating like really true stencils, oil board is the way to go. It's just very thick. You can get yours cut. You could somebody can cut them, you can go to a shop, they can cut them for you. But I cut everything myself using X-Acto knives. And that's why I went to the paper. The paper is so thin, it's easy to cut. And then using the screen, it protects it, But this is really simple to cut. But if I'm using the oil board, or I think that's all, I don't know what other people use, oil board, cardboard, things a bit thicker, it just gets tough on your hands over time.
So what
That
is
paper
this?
that you're holding right now that is on the screen, and you said it's adhesive at the, where do you get that and what is it called?
I have a picture of it. You just get it at the hardware store. It's a hardware supply.
Like a contact paper, kind of like a contact paper.
I would ask them for a concrete mesh screen. I was using Windows, so it's kind of near the Windows screen stuff. I went from Windows screen, typical Windows screen, to this concrete mesh. It's white. Right now it's sprayed black, but it comes in a white, and it's a roll like this. It's tall, very tall.
Right. But the paper, where do you get the paper? Is what I guess I was asking.
Oh, the paper I print at Kinko's.
No.
I print everything to my size.
You said it has an adhesive in the back. That's what I was just asking.
Oh, the screen has the adhesive.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. The screen sticks to the paper.
Okay.
Where do you buy the screen?
Hardware store.
I'm sorry, what?
Home Depot, Lowe's.
Oh, Home Depot.
I
So
don't think Anawalt has it. I like Anawalt, but
so how many times do you think when you use one of these stencils, do you use it over and over, or do you just use it and then recycle it?
I use it so many times. I can use it for many pieces, but also some of my pieces I need to fix certain areas. Let me show you, like that one was 30. This one's 36 by 48. I had to put the stencil on there multiple times just to get certain areas clean, or to differentiate certain areas, like the bra area or the arm area or something. I usually wind up having to use the stencil on one painting multiple times too. I'm not sure if I can.
You have to wait for one layer to dry before you spray paint another layer?
Yes. Quick drying though. Here's this one. It's a different one. But I print them all to size, like whatever they're actually going to be. This will actually be this, because there's really no room to add or take away or move, or this one I think is like 18 by 24, I think. So it's going to be that.
Does the mesh leave a negative space too, or does the paint seem to go around it?
It's a good question. That's a trick that we figured out. Um, you lift it slightly.
Oh, so that it can mist underneath it.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it.
Otherwise, people sometimes it's like you leave the grid marks or you do whatever, and it's kind of like a cool texture that no one
Yeah.
understands why is there. You know, that's fine too. If that's your thing, you could do that. But typically, I lift it slightly, and then I spray to try and relieve the areas so you don't really know. Yeah.
So cool.
This is some words. It's like, so I could do like an outline.
Yeah. Fight for our future.
Cool. So they last, you know, these are just under my table here that I just roll up and I keep them. And sometimes I go through them and clean them out. Like I know I'm not going to use certain ones ever again or whatever. And then they do get recycled, but I just keep them because then, you know, it's like less work you have to do.
So you print the picture on your stencil and then cut out what you want to cut out. Is that correct?
I cut out all the black. So when you see it, it's like a black and white image and all the black gets cut out.
Do you do a design before you start this so you know what you're going to be doing, or is it a bit on the fly?
Yeah, it kind of has to be, at least the portrait, it's, you know, the portrait part needs to be thought out. Needs to be thought out and what it's going to be, because it also needs to be sized to
Right.
that thing.
Yeah.
So I've done 9 foot. It's so crazy. It was a crazy idea, but I did a school. I helped my friend paint. We photographed the kids, made them into stencils, stenciled them onto the school because we couldn't project it. That's another thing. Like some things can be projected, you know, but also sometimes it doesn't, the space or whatever happens doesn't allow for that. So the stencils actually came in very handy because we literally had like this like 2 feet of space to paint the side of the school. So we printed them out 9 feet and then cut them all out in sections. So, you know, you spend some time at Kinko's and some money on the paper and the printing. Otherwise I used to project and trace because I didn't want to print them out. But time-wise, it's worth it because it saves time.
Yeah.
So I've tried many different variations of how this might work, you know.
This is so
Over time.
fascinating. It's such an inside look at a stylized way of working that is so friggin' cool, because you are sharing not only your knowledge and your design ideas, but you're also sharing the street knowledge that you've gathered over time. And, you know, like you're this little book of knowledge. It's awesome.
I just can't like not. That's why it's like just learning, you know. I don't know. I don't know what happens in art school. So maybe all this happens, you know, in art school, and you know everything, and you just go and you do the thing that you like, and you know, it's just a different way of being and exploring and being an artist. But I just didn't have that, so I just feel like this is my art school.
I mean, I think the most important thing about school is it teaches you how to gather information, and you are an ace at gathering information and then applying it.
Yeah, but I'm not in debt, so
yeah, exactly. Let's see. Adiola is asking about, can you share pointers about the other art fair, as she's going to be doing it next week? Wow, congratulations. That's awesome.
Oh, I will come visit you. Okay. Do you know what? You don't have a booth number yet, do you? 21. Okay, I'll come see you. 2 of my friends are doing it this year. Mary Lai, if you see her, go say hi. If you see Megan DeRoma, go say hi. They're both very lovely, wonderful ladies.
And
They
where
will be
is?
happy to see you. Barker Hanger,
Oh,
Santa
okay, good. It's
Monica.
Santa Monica. Yep. Okay, great.
If anyone's going, you guys should all have you all of you should maybe go out and have a time and go see some art. And they have a big party on Thursday, I think, is the VIP night, right?
Mm.
And then it's a whole 4-day situation.
Great.
Adiola, I'd like to ask if you have originals and prints.
Oh, thanks. Okay. She just put up a discount price for the tickets, 20 Adiola.
Mostly original.
Mostly original, okay. If you had time to get some prints, I'm sure that you would make some extra money on that. That's what I did my first couple times. I think I've done the art fair 4 times. But this was also before the pandemic, I think. Yeah. Yeah, 2020. Yeah. So I did it before the pandemic. I sold mostly originals. It was a different time also. Originals do sell, which are great, but so do prints if you have the ability to maybe do that. Or some cards or something small that's inexpensive for you to create, to give people a price point to get in there to buy something. Do a giveaway if you can do something like that. Do a giveaway, like something very small, a print or something. Do a giveaway and collect email addresses at this event, because you're going to be there for 4 days and you need to get something out of it. And that's the best thing you can do. If you're not making sales, at least you're getting people to look at your work and that you can market to later. It's good. It's attended well. How do you price your work? Ugh. Hate pricing my work. I usually do. I think I've created a. It's a per square inch. It's like a price per square inch.
That's how I do mine.
Yeah.
It's the most consistent.
But if I'm at a group show, if I'm at a show and I feel like I don't want it to be gallery price, I'll just change it. I don't know if most people do that, but I'm like, just buy it now. Like, here, it's going to be this, you know. It really depends on where you're at and how you're presenting your work and what audience you think is coming, you know, things like that. But what is my price per square inch? I literally don't remember. I wish I could tell you. I cannot remember. It's something, if I divide it by something on my website, then it'll it'll remind me. Because I've been doing so many prints. I haven't been doing as many originals. I'm focusing kind of on limited edition prints and doing some things like that. So I don't quite remember. Oh, that's very nice.
This is going to be this
Elizabeth.
is called the Other Art Show. Is that the name of it? The Other Art
The
Show?
Other Art Fair.
The Art Fair.
The Other
And
Art
it's in
Fair.
Pasadena.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's in Pasadena.
If you can't.
No.
Oh.
Santa Monica.
Oh, this is something different? The Other Art Fair is in Santa Monica. I'm not sure what's in Pasadena.
Okay.
Oh, was the little shadow at the bottom of the rose deliberate? Yeah, I was curious if I should make that black or keep it pink. But I also usually put a color around the rose. I can show you. Like this one in the back, yellow. I usually color out. I usually cover up this with a color, and then I can go over it again with the black and fill it in. But I think, yeah, I might throw some color, do something fun and different on here. But they were asking if the shadow at the bottom was deliberate.
Thanks, Nancy.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show the process more than like creating like a full executed piece. The other, The other art fair is in Santa Monica at the airport. Yes, the Barker Hangar at the airport. That's where the Frieze was. This past year or whatever year we're in. Frieze was they took over the Barker Hangar. It was a beautiful show. The other art fair's been there. I did it twice at the Barker Hangar. It's a great event. It's very fun. And I think there's a lot of art. So you're just competing with a lot of other artists, but when your work speaks to somebody, they'll buy it. If the price point is good and those types of things, if you're able to talk about your art in a way that you tell a story, if there's things like that you can share with people walking by, engage. That's the only thing I can say, engage.
It's great. This was amazing, Amy. You have so much amazing and informative stuff to share with us. I think we could go on for a really long time. I could talk forever. And you could do a whole talk to us just on the marketing aspect of this, because
I know really that's how I was like, oh, we should probably get into that like in a whole other, yeah.
Yeah, and so we may have you back.
But I would like to hear what other people have done or are doing, because I don't want to just keep tell people all the same stuff they already know, But yeah, it's a lot of different variations of things to think about.
Yeah, you're really working it so well and so smart and still having fun.
I really try and keep that as my base intention. That's why it started that way, and I like it to continue that way, So.
Yeah, it's really, you can see it. It's really obvious in your work and in your attitude, and just in the way you express yourself. You just are having a grand old time.
Yeah, it's fun now because I started teaching kids classes in the park too. So we're doing my friend and I convinced her to help me, but she loves it too. So we just do art in the park, and we just do craft activities using recycled materials. Oh, if you ladies are in the area on Sunday, I'm doing cyclovia. We have a mini cyclovia in North Hollywood, and I'm doing a recycled lantern workshop. And so I'm going to just be showing people how to make these recycled lanterns. They're very pretty. And the kids, hopefully, they'll draw on them or they'll do something funky or whatever. But yeah, they're just shutting down like a mile or so. Lancashire, Magnolia.
Magnolia and Lancashire. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Isn't that Magnolia and Tahunga?
I think there's that curve. It's near the what they say? It's near the train station, the metro.
Yeah.
Right there. And I think it's near like Lancashire. It's mostly like Lancashire, like a mile of Lancashire.
Okay.
But I can send you Liz, I can send you maybe or it's on my Instagram too, but there's a map on Cyclovia's website. I have it on my Instagram. I've been sharing it a bunch. But that's on Sunday. It's 9 to 3. It's something to do outdoors, walk around, kids will be there, I'm sure, some dogs. Oh, my friend's doing dog portraits or whatever. I don't know. There's a list of activities happening.
Great.
And it does look like a lot of fun.
Okay. Yeah, if you send it to me, I'll try to get it out. I don't know if I can guarantee I'll get it out before Saturday, so that they have time to plan for Sunday.
Yeah,
I will try. Yeah.
I can just share the
email it to me.
Yeah, because they have the map on
or
there too.
You can put it here too, but email it to me.
I know some people oh, I cannot because Elizabeth left, but I'll email it.
Yeah, to this Liz. Yeah, me.
Oh yeah. It said because it's trying to go to her phone. Why? Okay, here you go. Now I can send it. Sorry. I was doing something wrong on the chat. But yeah, so that's what's happening. Reach out anytime. I'm hoping to join this amazing group of ladies when the next time arises, so I can learn what everyone else is doing.
You are welcome to join us at any of our meetings too, Amy. We'd love to have you come back. So that'd be great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, you guys, before we let Amy go? You can unmute or type or whatever you want.
Thank you. That was a very interesting presentation.
Yeah, it was really awesome. Thank you so
That is
much.
that is my favorite description of myself.
It was
At least
really
it'll be
great.
interesting.
I want to make one more quick announcement, and then Amy,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
gonna
think she
officially thank you.
registered.
If anyone
It's
can
okay,
get,
I'm early.
if anyone can get down to the Laguna Art Museum, I just blanked on who one of our members.
Wayne Johnson.
Yes, Buena Johnson, thank you. One of her pieces has been accepted by that museum as a permanent part of their collection. And the exhibition is up until next Sunday. So it means you can go this weekend to see Amy and what they're doing. And then you could go down to Laguna anytime between now and next Sunday and see what Buena is up to. So it'd be really
Read
awesome.
her latest email though, because I thought that the museum director said that it was ending on the 17th.
I thought she said the 23rd.
Yeah, I thought
That
she
was
said the
original, and
23rd.
they switched it, I think, to the 17th, and that's why we said maybe we would organize a trip in sometime toward the end of October, because she said even though it would be a different exhibit, she could bring Buena's painting out and still we could have an event for women's painters with a docent.
Oh, well, that would be great. Okay, I didn't know that part. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that Buena sent that email just I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Okay, I didn't see that one, so that's great. Okay, anything else for Amy? Amy, you are a rock star. Thank you so much. I know everyone got a lot out of it. It was really fun. Love how you make your stencils, and
Oh, thank you.
anything we can get at the hardware store is always a fun field trip, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. It's like all stuff that's like just finding new ways to use stuff is so
Yeah.
fun too.
It's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
the
the
opportunity.
Yeah, it was really
Hope
good.
to see you next week.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank
All
you
right,
so
you
much.
guys, thank you, and have a great rest of your week, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.